Welcome back to Opening Statements. Now let's talk about what's tipping the scales of justice. Today we're in day 2 of the sentencing hearing for admitted killer Jeremy Goodale. So the teenager's hearing set to kick off this morning. He pleaded guilty earlier this year to murdering his Spanish teacher. Think about that. This guy murdered his own Spanish teacher. And the state is asking that he be sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 25 years. And as part of the state's argument for the stiff sentence, prosecutors played Goodale's proffer, where he describes how they killed their Spanish teacher and then hid her body. Take a look.
He kind of gave me like a nod, saying, like, here she comes. And I gave the signal, I was so clear, and then she walked by and he hit her in the back of the head. And then I said, like, oh, make sure she's dead. So we hit her a couple more times. Trying to disguise and trail a little left. And then we found Miss Graber's body. I moved it to the wheelbarrow and then rolled it along to where we eventually decided we moved far enough, placed the tarp over her body. The wheelbarrow was kind of falling apart and had blood on it, so we, kind of tried to take the wheel off of it, so it looked like a piece of trash, and we left that on top of the tarp.
Oh my gosh, Nohema Graber is the victim here. And what sentence might her callous killer get? Well, we know his co-defendant was given more time than the state was even asking for. So could Goodale receive the same fate? I want to bring back in my wonderful guest, law enforcement expert Sonny Slaughter, on the couch with me here in the studio, and criminal defense and civil rights attorney Casey Early with us remotely. Oh boy, it's hard to think about what those kids did to that beautiful woman who deserved to live, who chose a life of education for our young people, and to be so brutally taken off this earth. Sonny, what do you think the judge will do with him when it comes time for sentence?
I think the judge is going to weigh all of the evidence, all of the facts, but also the callous nature of this particular crime for someone who was a leader, a mentor in the community, and really trying to help them. So I think the judge is going to weigh all of the evidence, the facts, and then I believe that he's going to get a very harsh sentence. It deserves one in this particular case.
Yes. Casey, let us turn to you now, please. Your thoughts on what the judge may do with him and why.
The facts of this case were absolutely gruesome, and to hear this proffer and as they recounted what allegedly happened. When I was a former public defender, I actually worked in the juvenile division, and I had to constantly remind the court during the mitigation phase that juveniles are not many adults. They have a different mindset. Their brain is not as developed. However, unless there's a clear explanation or a clear proffer that one had more involvement than the other, I do believe that he will have the same sentence as the co-defendant.
Appreciate it. And Casey, a follow-up for you, please. When you were in juvenile court, which is a unique experience, not every attorney, especially attorneys who go into public service, get that experience. Did you find that the great majority of kids might have just been kids who made bad mistakes, but there were a small minority of those kids who were just evil and really scary without any chance of rehabilitation?
Absolutely. And the ones that were the most egregious cases, they actually had a repeated pattern. They started off small with the misdemeanor battery, and then it elevated to the aggravated battery, the burglary. So you saw that there was a continuing nature of crimes that were being committed. And those are the ones that are eventually direct filed into the adult system. But then you have that rare minority that they have no past criminal record, and then all of a sudden they brought a gun to school or they committed this murder. And those are the unique cases that require evaluation and mitigation and pretrial sentence and investigation to kind of convince the court that there is room for rehabilitation. Because remember, the juvenile system is meant to rehabilitate, the adult system is meant to punish. But when you direct file a juvenile into the adult system, you still have to think about those rehabilitative functions later on if they are amenable to treatment.
All this information from you is so helpful, Casey. Sunny Slaughter, tapping into your law enforcement expertise. When we think about the danger that these two teenagers are to the public, how dangerous do you see them and why?
Well, when I take the lens of my co-counsel, co-colleague here, and think about the rehabilitative side, how dangerous they are, I think, as Brian Stevenson said, you know, none of us are worse than the worst thing we've ever done. So on the law enforcement side, I think there's opportunity for rehabilitation. There is opportunity to engage them in a way that redirects their worst thing into something best. So I think law enforcement would say, you know, there's possibilities there, and that we should really consider that and not just throw away everyone that has done something so horrific. So depending on the aggravating circumstances, I think we can, you know, just redirect some young people, and this case is good.
Right. We're going to go there live this morning when the sentencing hearing resumes. Big thank you to you both, Casey Early and Sunny Slaughter. Thank you so much for lending our show such great insight and expertise that you have. When we come back, we're going to get you up to speed on Tuesday's testimony in the strangled girlfriend murder trial and gear up for day 2 of the bad grade murder case. We'll be right back.